place at this kind of worship service, there is a single question that is the most important for us to ask. Just how serious is God in sharing life with us? Just how serious is God about being with us? We cry, O come, Emmanuel, God with us. And how serious is God about the us part? And how much of life is God willing to share with us? If God is interested in the happy parts, the highlights, the mountaintop experiences, well, now that would tell us something, wouldn't it? It would tell us that the Hallmark Channel has it right. And that life really, the important things are the spiffy and shiny moments, the magical moments, and that everything else is just the preparation for it. And if that was God's interest in the mountaintop experiences, boy, that would tell us something, wouldn't it? And if God was interested in the hard places, in the broken places, in the sad and grief-stricken moments, when all is lost, boy, that would tell us something, wouldn't it? If God was interested in sharing that much of life with us, why, we would see Jesus born into a no-account town. We'd find him born among peasants, and we'd probably see him running from soldiers as refugees to another country with the screams of desperate and grief-stricken mothers chasing them all the way. We'd probably see Jesus living in a country under occupation, where soldiers were permitted to kill at any moment and could make anyone carry their pack for 2 miles just because they could. We'd probably see Jesus living at the edge of starvation, with craftsmen in no-account towns, in a no-account county, in a no-account country. We'd probably see Jesus unknown. And if God was interested in that much of life, in sharing life with us that much, we'd probably find Jesus hanging out with all the wrong people. With the lost and the least and the littlest and the lepers and the losers. We'd probably find Jesus hanging out with sinners as his preferred dinner companions. And if God was that serious in sharing life, in all of life with us, well then we'd probably see Jesus abandoned, betrayed, arrested for something he didn't do. We'd probably see his friends go running when everything fell apart. We'd see him beaten. We'd see him bleeding. We'd see him crying out as spikes drove through his hands. And we'd see his blood, oh, so much blood. And we'd even hear him crying out in that God-forsaken moment, my God, why have you forsaken me? And if God was interested and that serious about sharing life with us, we would see him in the tomb, filled and broken. But that would not end there, for the love of God is too strong to be left there, and we would need to know that God's love for us will not allow anything to stand in its way. And so that tomb could not stay full. We would see Jesus rise again. If God was interested in sharing that much life with us, if God was that serious in sharing life, boy, that would tell us something, wouldn't it? That would say to us that broken hearts don't go back the same way. And neither did Jesus. It would say to us that there is no moment and no place where we can go or things that can happen when God is not already there first. It would say that every tear that falls down our face is echoed on God's face. And it would say in every wilderness, every darkness, every brokenness, every grief, every sorrow, every lament, when everything falls apart and there is no hope left, and we cry out, my God, where are you? When we would turn around, we will discover God is holding us there, and we are never alone. But those hard feelings are holy too, because God has welcomed them, and God has embraced them, and the Almighty God has been there too. If God was that serious about sharing life with us, if God was that serious about embracing everything about us, if God was there with us and for us and right inside us in those broken places, if God was that serious about being with us, boy, that would really tell us something, wouldn't it? That would sure tell us something.